Revealing Jesus, releasing destinies. This is Celebration TV. Revealing Jesus, releasing destinies. This is Celebration TV.
To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikunle Amosu.
You're welcome to Celebration Television News Desk. My name is Akosle Nicholas Walter. Here are the news making the headlines. Reps want State of the Nation address compulsory for presidents. Presidential welcome for ex-Ivorian leader upon his return from exile. Prime Minister determined restrictions will end on the 19th of July. Naira tumbles by 51.95% despite CBN's defense measures. NEYMAR on form as Brazil routs Venezuela 3-0. Please stay with us as we bring you details of our news after this very short break. You're welcome back, and now the news in full. The House of Representatives is proposing to make it compulsory for every sitting president to address Nigerians on the state of the nation. The president will also address a joint session of the National Assembly periodically, while the federal parliament could summon him if he failed to come forward to address lawmakers as at when due. If the bill eventually becomes law, it will be mandatory for President Muhammadu Buhari and his successive presidents to address both the Senate and the House of Representatives. This has been proposed in the State of the Nation Address Bill 2020, which was sponsored by the lawmaker representing Ethiop East and Ethiop West Federal Constituency in Delta State, Mr. Ben Igbapa, a member of the People's Democratic Party. The bill is, however, silent on what happens where the president also shuns the summons by the National Assembly. The House had on March 16, 2021 passed for second reading a similar bill seeking to amend the Constitution with a new provision to compel a sitting president to appear before the National Assembly whenever he or she is summoned by the Parliament. Sponsor of the bill, Sagios Ogun, had noted that the bill was born out of the refusal by Buhari to appear before the National Assembly last year. Moving forward, Reps screen YAHAYA for confirmation as Army Chief today. The House of Representatives will screen Major General Farouk YAHAYA today for confirmation as Chief of Army Staff. President Muhammadu Buhari had asked the Senate and the House of Reps to confirm the appointment of YAHAYA. Speaker of the House, Femi Gbajabiamila, read Buhari's letter seeking legislative approval of the appointment at the plenary today. He had referred the nominee to the Committee on Defense and Army for screening. The chairman of the House Committee on Defense, Babajimi Benson, said the screening of YAHAYA will be held today at 3 p.m. YAHAYA's appointment was announced 1 week after the demise of the immediate past Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Ibrahim Atahiru, and 10 others in a plane crash in Kaduna. Until his appointment, YAHAYA was the theater commander operation Hadin Kai, responsible for counter-terrorism and counter-insurgency operations in the northeast. When his appointment is confirmed, YAHAYA is expected to be elevated to the rank of Lieutenant General, leaving a Chief of Defense Staff, General Leo Irabo, as the most senior in the armed forces. Buhari had skipped 29 major generals and appointed YAHAYA, who is a member of Regular Course 37, as Army Chief, a move that has been generating controversy in the last 2 weeks. In another development, quickly, OSINBAJO orders seek end to insecurity in schools. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and other stakeholders have advocated a collaborative security framework to tackle the rising insecurity around schools in Nigeria. Osinbajo, who was represented by the Special Advisor of the President on National Social Investment, Mrs. Mariam Owais, at his online summit on school safety and security organized by Halogen Group in partnership with IA Foundation, noted that all hands must be on deck to tackle the insecurity around schools in Nigeria using an inclusive approach. He said private sector security experts, especially those with competencies related to technology, are being encouraged to share innovative insights, as the efforts must be comprehensive and inclusive manner. The Lagos State Commissioner for Education, Mrs. Folashade Adefisayo, stressed the need for a collaborative strategy towards beating insecurity within the country's school environment. The Group Managing Director of Halogen Group, Mr. Wale Olaoye, said they should be able to define schools in terms of their risk ratio. Olaoye said there is a need to conduct a risk assessment for schools and come up with better modalities that will tackle the issues of insecurity in the educational sector. And quickly, coming from around Africa, presidential welcome for ex-IVORIAN leader upon his return from exile. A welcome feed for a king for the former president of Côte d'Ivoire, Laurent Gbagbo. After 10 years in exile, Gbagbo finally returned to his home country. Upon his flight arrival, he will go through the airport's VIP facilities to then be received at the presidential pavilion, as announced by the politician's party at a press conference. Gbagbo has been acquitted of crimes against humanity by the International Criminal Court, charges he faced after 3,000 people lost their lives in electoral violence in 2010, when he refused to concede defeat to the then victor and current president Alassane Ouattara. The head of state, Ouattara, has extended his presidential courtesy to his old rival Gbagbo as a peaceful gesture to avoid renewed conflict. Still coming from around Africa, President Tshisekedi assesses volcanic damage in Goma. President of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Felix Tshisekedi, accompanied by wife and First Lady Denise Yankeru, paid a visit to Goma City, where the recent volcanic eruption of Mount Urangogo devastated the area. The head of state took time to assess the damage inflicted in and around the city by the volcano fiery spores and promised the locals that all houses destroyed by the lava will be rebuilt. Victims of the natural disaster said they had the opportunity to share their concerns and grievances with their Congolese leader. After his Goma visit, President Felix Tshisekedi is expected in Beni, where he will access the work of the Republic of Congo's armed forces on the front line against the ADF rebels, and will then need to head to Uganda for a meeting with his presidential counterpart, Yoweri Museveni. We'll go on a very short break. When we'll come back, we'll bring you updates from the United Kingdom. Please don't go anywhere.
ignites the flame for unbridled unction, sets the pace for uncommon impact. Get ready for a moment of change to protect your identity in International Youth Conference 2021. Theme: purpose, passion, and power. Ministry: pastoral courage in Molere.
Powers that has vowed that you will always beg before you see favor. Powers that has vowed that you will always beg before you see lifting. After now, that yoke shall be broken.
Reverend John Asia.
The enemy takes advantage of our unbridled tongue. We are talking, be careful. You know, we look for trouble by ourselves, by too many information that we release out of our mouth.
Apostle Professor Johnson and Dr. Lizzie Suleiman.
A battle of service. Our youths, these days, this generation, God will help us. Who will feel your impact? Who will feel your impact if you even choose to leave this place now? The battle of service is a battle that is confronting the youth today.
Nothing severes you from entanglement like addiction to God's word. Your addiction to God's word is your severance and your cure.
Date 6th through 9th July 2021, happening at the International Worship Center, Omega Fire Ministries, Kilometer 132, Benin Okene, Abuja Expressway, Auchi, Edo State, Nigeria. The time is 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. GMT+1. For inquiries, please call. It's time to break bounds.
You're welcome back, and now updates from United Kingdom. Prime Minister determined restrictions will end on 19th of July. The Prime Minister is determined that the remaining coronavirus restriction in England will be lifted on the 19th of July. Boris Johnson confirmed that measures will remain in place until then because of the rapid spread of the Delta variant. That will be the terminus date for the remaining restrictions on social contact, he said. However, some Conservative Member of Parliament are concerned they could remain for longer. Scientists advising the government had warned of a significant resurgence in people needing hospital treatment for COVID-19 if stage 4 of easing the lockdown went ahead as planned on the 21st of June. The Prime Minister said a 4-week delay would allow more people to get vaccinated. However, a few restrictions have been lifted on the 21st of June, including the limit on wedding guest members, although venues will still have to adhere to social distancing rules. Addressing Member of Parliament's Health Secretary Matt Hancock said the decision had been made with a heavy heart, but the race between the vaccines and the virus isn't over yet. More updates from now we have NATO warns NATO warns of military challenge posed by China. There's an update coming from China. NATO leaders meeting for a summit in Brazil have warned of the military threat posed by China, saying its behavior is a systemic challenge. China, they say, was rapidly expanding its nuclear arsenal, was opaque about its military modernization, and was cooperating militarily with Russia. NATO chief Jens Stoltenberg warned China was coming closer to NATO in military and technological terms, but he stressed the alliance did not want a new Cold War with China. NATO is a powerful political and military alliance between 30 European and North American countries. It was established after World War II in response to the threat of communist expansion. In recent years, the NATO alliance came under strain as leaders debated its purpose and funding. Tensions grew during the presidency of Donald Trump, who complained about his country's financial contributions to the alliance and questioned the U.S. commitment to defend European partners. It is his successor, Joe Biden's first NATO meeting since taking office, and the new president has sought to resort American backing for the 72-year-old alliance. Quickly, we'll go straight to business news right now. See how Naira tumbles by 51.95% despite CBN's defense measures. The value of the Naira to the dollar fell from 196.99 Naira in December 2015 to 410 Naira in April 2021, reflecting a 51.95% decline despite the various foreign exchange policies introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria to strengthen the currency. According to a monthly document obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria's website, the value of Naira at the interbank forex market stood at 196.99 Naira as of December 2015. Reports had it last that Central Bank of Nigeria officially adopted the NAFEX exchange rate of 410.25 Naira per dollar as its official exchange rate, devaluing the Naira from 379 Naira per dollar. In a move to achieve exchange rate stability and preserve the country's forex reserves, the Central Bank of Nigeria in 2015 reviewed downwards the spending limit on the usage of Naira-denominated debit cards for transactions abroad. In a circular issued in April 2015 signed by the then Director of Trade and Exchange, Olakami Gbadamosi, the bank said the limit had been reduced from $150,000 to $50,000 per person annually, while daily cash withdrawals per person was pegged at $300. After 6 months of implementing the policy, the value of Naira in the official window remained stable at 197 Naira per dollar, or fell from 210 Naira per dollar to 258 Naira per dollar at the parallel market. And still on business news, Buhari regime borrows $2.02 billion from China in 6 years. The Buhari's administration has borrowed $2.02 billion as loans from China from 2015, data obtained from the Data Management Office has shown. According to the statistics obtained from the DMO, Nigeria's total debt from China as of June 30, 2015 stood at $1.38 billion. However, as of March 31st, the country's debt portfolio from China had risen to $3.40 billion. According to the DMO, loans from China are concessional loans with interest rates of 2.50% per annum, a tenure of 20 years and grace period of 7 years. The debt office said that the terms of the loans were compliant with the provisions of Section 41, Subsection 1A of the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007. The loans from China are tied to projects. The projects, 11 in number as at March 31st, 2020, includes the Nigerian Railway Modernization Project, the Abuja Light Rail Project, Nigeria 4 Airport Terminus Expansion Project, and the Kanu Lagos and Port Harcourt, Nigeria Railway Modernization Project, Lagos Ibadan section, and the rehabilitation and upgrading of Abuja Kefi Makurdi Road project. The DMO said the low interest rate on the loans reduced the interest costs to government, while the long tenure enabled the repayment of the principal sum of the loans over many years. However, as of March 31st, a total of $719.61 million had been made as debt service payment to China since the third quarter of 2015. Of the amount paid as of debt service, 46.15% was paid to service the interest on the loans, which is a sum of $332 million as well. In the first quarter of 2021, $102.19 million was used to service debts to China. This is about 11% of the total sum of $1 billion used to service external debts within the period. We'll go on a very short break. We'll come back. We'll bring you sport news. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be back. Welcome back, and now on sports news. Neymar on form as Brazil roads Venezuela free goes to new. Brazilian superstar Neymar ran the show as he scored one and assisted another in Brazil's 3-0 Copa America opener victory against Venezuela at the Estadio Nacional. PSG defender Marquinhos set La Seleco going netting Brazil's first and his third international goal before teammate Neymar added his second from the penalty spot in the 64th minute. Brazil dominated proceedings, finishing the game with 18 shots to Venezuela's 3, with Gabriel Barbosa sealing the win with a leg strike. Brazil started on the front foot and twice went close earlier on. Joel Guatero keeping out Richarlison and Adam Milito heading wide from a teasing Renan Lodi cross. Richarlison saw an effort ruled out for offside soon after, while NEYMAR dragged wide from a promising position as Brazil failed to extend their advantage before the interval. NEYMAR was unable to steer home Gabriel Jesus' cross at the start of the second period, but he struck home from the spot shortly after the hour mark after Danilo had been clipped in the area for Johan Comana. Late on, NEYMAR's 10 provider for Brazil's third in the 89th minute, rounding Guatero and crossing for Barbosa to chest home from almost on the line. Now, another sports news quickly. Federal government dissolves Athletics Federation's board. The federal government dissolved the board of the Athletics Federation of Nigeria. According to a statement signed by the media aide to the Minister of Sports and Youth Development, John Joshua Kanji, the board was dissolved because its tenure had expired. The ministry said it understood that the AFN would be holding an elective Congress on Monday. The ministry urged delegates at Monday's Congress to eschew bitterness and vote for candidates that can unite the Federation. The AFN had at its extraordinary Congress on Sunday in Abuja asked the ministry to invoke Article 10.4 of its constitution and dissolve the outgoing board. And that has brought us to the end of the news on Celebration Television News Desk. In case you miss out, there's a news headlines recap. Reps want State of the Nation address compulsory for presidents. Presidential welcome for ex-IVORIAN leader upon his return from exile. Prime Minister determined restrictions will end on the 19th of July. Naira tumbles by 51.95% despite Central Bank of Nigeria's defense measures. And NEYMAR on form as Brazil rolls Venezuela 3-0. And quickly we have a photo of the day. Can you see that man gazing? What does that tell us? I think it's time for us to stop considering the distance we have to cover, because success starts with a step. In case you're actually contemplating on how to begin, just begin with a step. Bet you'll be successful in life. You can drop your observation, your contribution on our social media platforms, on Facebook, Celebration TV, Instagram, My Celebration TV, Twitter, at My Celebration TV, YouTube, Celebration TV. Your positive contribution to the wellness of a society you find yourself or the organization you work defines your leadership mind. As an individual who knows what to do and do without expecting to be pushed has bagged his ways to success. Be it known today that everything we do, think, feel, and believe either has a positive or negative effect on humanity and our national well-being. Be a part of nation building today. Thank you once again for staying with us on our news desk. My name, Nicholas Akosile Walter. Thank you. To 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2018.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikunle Amosun.